What's going on, guys? White Fox 1225 here, and today I'm talking about Mordhau. It's an upcoming medieval multiplayer game, very similar to Chivalry if you guys ever played that game, but there are some big differences and some key differences that I think are going to make this game a lot better, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get right in and talk about the gameplay. Like I said, it has no focus on the story. It's all about those multiplayer matches. The control scheme is very similar to Chivalry, so if you played that game you should really have no problem jumping into this, but there is a little bit of a difference in terms of the controls. You have a lot more freedom and a lot more ability to control your blade and your character movement in the game. So for example, I can change the direction of my blade just by moving my mouse. So if I do a swing and midair I want to change it, I can do that by moving my mouse, and that'll move my blade in that direction. I can also control where my attack comes from, so in both these games the right mouse button does a standard slash attack, but if I want to do that attack from below or above in this game, I can do that just by moving my mouse button and starting my blade in a different position. And in my opinion, that's where this game separates itself from Chivalry, because the gameplay looks a lot more intricate, and like it takes a lot of skill. It still looks like anyone can jump in and do well, but in order to master it, you're going to have to spend a lot of time, whereas in Chivalry, I felt like after 20 hours, I pretty much had mastered the combat, but this game looks like it could take hours, like hundreds of hours to master. Another thing I want to mention is that all weapons will have an alternative way to use them, so I can change the side of my hammer I'm using, or actually hold my sword by the blade and use the handle to do damage to the armor, and that's really cool because it just allows, different ways to use weapons, more variation for the gameplay. There will also be ranged combat and siege weapons and shields. Even though they haven't gone into details about those, they will be in the game. Now let's move on to my favorite part of this game so far, which is the crafting. I'm not even sure if you could call this system crafting, but the way it works is you can pretty much make whatever armor and weapons you want. You can customize your swords by picking different handles and different blades and all these different combinations to make the perfect weapon for you, and you can do the same thing for your armor, and that's really cool, and some of those will change gameplay as well, and not just how they look. There will be, of course, cosmetics too, so you can change the color and styles and how you look in general. To me, this system looks really interesting. It's actually the most interesting part of the game, I think, because if they really flesh out this system and make it so you can spend a lot of time making an awesome weapon and then take it into a multiplayer match and do awesome, I could see lots of people liking that. And if you could spend lots of time just crafting and making weapons, that would be really cool. Unfortunately, I don't think this system will be that deep. It'll just be being able to put different combinations to make weapons, but still very cool that this is coming to the game. One last thing I want to mention is the graphics do look very good, AAA, as good as anything I expect these days, and they look really up to date and clean and polished. The animations look really solid, all the sword play flows together really well, and all the animations look very, very well done. So there's no set release date, guys. They did say the game's going to be coming to the Kickstarter, although thankfully it will not be coming to Steam Early Access. I'm not a huge fan of Steam Early Access just because I think it gives developers an excuse to not really finish games and just leave them in a beta state. But I'm really glad it's coming to the Kickstarter, so when it does, I'll make sure to let you guys know so you can go fund it. There is no release date right now. It is in pre-alpha. I would expect it to be released sometime either next year or in 2018, and I know that seems like a really long time away, but hopefully it'll be worth the wait, and I'll definitely be covering the game. So if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you guys have any comments, leave them down below. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.